am going to do a reading from Queen of Heaven. I'm reading from chapter 24, The Sea Rovers. April, 1454. We spent the next 6 weeks traveling along the coasts of Italy, Spain, Portugal, and France, stopping at ports along the way as our trading ship delivered merchandise for sale in those countries, and picked up items for trade in the countries to the north. One night, during dinner, we were discussing the variety of items carried on board with Captain William Aird. "Have you ever seen a ruby up close, or held one in your hand?" he asked us with a twinkle of mischief in his eyes. "I certainly have not," Father James replied, "though I have often wondered about their color. I have heard that they are not always a uniform shade of red." "I have only seen a ruby set in a necklace, worn by a family friend," I admitted, as the image of Madame de Taste came to mind. The last time we met was during her visit with Margaret to Durham College. I recalled that she had been wearing a long golden chain around her neck. From it hung a pendant adorned with rubies and pearls, set in enameled cloisonne. "Very well, you will excuse me then. I shall return in a moment," the captain said jovially. When he returned, he carried with him a small wooden box, its corners reinforced with brass brackets and secured with a wide brass latch over the center, closed with a silver lock. Placing the box before us on the table, he reached under his shirt, revealing a silver necklace from which hung a small silver key. Removing the entire chain from over his head, he then used it to open the lid of the small box. As he did so, a dazzling glimmer was caught in the dim light cast by the suspended lantern that illuminated the space around us. He reached his right hand into the box, running his fingers through a shimmering sea of colorful stones and pearls. Sapphire, citrine, peridot, amethyst, ruby, emerald, diamond, and topaz, in a variety of shapes and sizes, were among the gems he clutched in the palm of his hand. He opened his fingers and they spilled out. Then he dug around, selecting an assortment of stones to show us. Rubies in shades of pinks and reds, from light rose to deep crimson to blood orange. "Here, your ladyship," Captain Aird urged with glee. "Now it is your turn. Run your fingers through the gems." "Am I allowed to do so?" I asked with hesitation. "Are these not the private property of a merchant who's entrusted you with their care?" "Yes, but with your reference from my friend Robert, I feel I can trust you both. I am in charge with ensuring their safekeeping as we travel to England. After we arrive in Portsmouth, I will travel with armed guards to meet with members of the Goldsmiths' Guild in the City of London. They will be sold and traded, and I will secure payment for them on behalf of the merchant in Italy." "That is quite a responsibility, is it not? What if they become lost or stolen?" I asked. "Why, thank you for your concern, but I have yet to lose any of the goods that I transport between southern and northern Europe. I have told you about the smaller ship that accompanies us. In my career as captain of this ship, I have not yet had to contend with being attacked by sea rovers. I pray that it may continue the same." Feeling more comfortable with his invitation, the lure of the gems was too great. I moved closer to sit by the captain's side. Reaching my hand inside the box, I closed my eyes. It was exhilarating to feel the smooth, polished stones as they came into contact with my hand. At that moment, I could imagine how a king or queen might feel empowered by the jewels they wore, whether in a crown or a ring or some other form of jewelry. Feeling their weight and mass sent a surge of pleasure rushing through my entire body. I felt connected to the earth in a way I had never experienced before. The thought that these very stones had been created in nature, and that human beings from some unknown part of the world had not only unearthed them, but then cut them, polished them, and carved them, grounded me in a powerful way. I exhaled deeply, opening my hand and my eyes, watching the gems glimmer in the lamplight as they slipped back into the box. Closing my eyes again, I caught a glimpse of my ancestor, King Richard, being presented at his ascension. Around his youthful head he wore a golden banded crown, heavily laden with a colorful assortment of gems and pearls of great size and varied in shape. Next, I watched as his face slowly became distorted, turning into that of an older man. His crown of wealth and power mockingly turned into a brutal crown of thorny branches, cutting deep into his scalp, sending bloody rivulets trickling down his face, covering his white fur mantle and silken cape with a mixture of blood and flesh. Sensing the pain of his torture and death, I dug deeper into the box, turning my palms upward, squeezing the stones hard before loosening my hands and releasing the gems to pass through my fingers, praying for the brutal image to fade from my sight. At that moment, I sensed the misery that possessing such beautiful artifacts could bring into one's life. That men would seek to destroy each other over their ownership. It pained me to think of the gems not serving their purpose as a means of beauty and embellishment, but instead, when being used with ill intentions, serving to destroy lives. Later that evening, after St. Compline and before falling asleep, I decided to read the words from the book of Revelation describing Jerusalem. One passage in particular held new meaning after my encounter with the stones of heaven earlier that evening. And the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold, like unto clear glass. And the foundations of the wall of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third a chalcedony, the fourth an emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth sardius, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth a topaz, the 10th a chrysoprase, the 11th a jacinth, the 12th an amethyst. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every gate was of one pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. Well, here ends the reading from chapter 24. I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching. To see my latest video and my last video, click here. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future videos and from this channel. And links to all my socials are in the description below. And yes, I hope you have a quiet night and a peaceful end. And if you would like to order Queen of Heaven, please do so online from Blackwell's bookshop. And I hope you enjoy the reading. Thank you.